Title: Understanding Aperture, A Beginner's Guide to Camera Settings. Narrator: if you're new to photography, one of the most important things you need to understand is aperture. Aperture is the opening in your camera lens that lets light in. It's an essential camera setting that can dramatically impact the way your photos turn out. Narrator: aperture is measured in f-stops, which can be a bit confusing at first. The smaller the f-stop number, the wider the aperture and the more light enters the lens. Conversely, the larger the f-stop number, the narrower the aperture and the less light enters the lens. Narrator: but aperture isn't just about controlling the amount of light. It also affects the depth of field in your photos. A wide aperture, small f-stop number, creates a shallow depth of field, which means that the subject is in focus, while the background is blurred. A narrow aperture, large f-stop number, creates a deeper depth of field, which means that both the subject and background are in focus. Narrator: let's look at an example. Imagine you're taking a photo of a flower. If you want the flower to be in sharp focus but the background to be blurred, you'll want to use a wide aperture, small f-stop number. This will create a shallow depth of field and draw attention to the flower. Narrator: on the other hand, if you're taking a landscape photo and you want everything in focus, you'll want to use a narrow aperture, large f-stop number. This will create a deeper depth of field and ensure that everything from the foreground to the background is in focus. Narrator: to adjust the aperture on your camera, you'll need to use the aperture priority mode or manual mode. In aperture priority mode, you select the desired f-stop, and the camera will automatically adjust the shutter speed to get the correct exposure. In manual mode, you'll need to adjust both the aperture and shutter speed to get the right exposure. Narrator: so there you have it. Aperture is an essential camera setting that can dramatically impact the way your photos turn out. By understanding how aperture works, you can take better photos and get more creative with your photography.